G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's get into it. My wife went to a hen party, but is evasive about what happened. A mutual friend is dropping weird hints. My 33 male, wife 30 female, went to a hen party last week, which was supposed to be dinner, drinks, and dancing, followed by board games at the bride's house. She doesn't like being away from home, so we were texting regularly through the evening. She sent me pictures of dinner, cocktails, and her and the girls, etc. It got a bit weird when they got to the club after dinner though. She said there was a change of plan and that the maid of honor had arranged a surprise for everyone, but my wife didn't know what it was. They were going back to the maid's house for it, where my wife had never been before. I messaged her to check that they'd got there safe, etc., but didn't hear back. I'm not one to panic, but my wife tends to get a bit panicky with new things, so I checked in with a mutual friend, 28 female, who was also at the party to see if it was all good. She replied quickly and said, "Yep, my wife's name loves the stripper." The friend hadn't thought twice about this apparently. I messaged her today and she voice noted me back a 30-second long groan, saying how hungover she had been and that she wished there had been a stripper because drinking was the only way to enjoy the other activities. So I figured that was the surprise, and I reply and laugh it off, saying great, I hope she has fun. About 15 minutes later, I get pretty much the same text from her and my wife saying it was a joke, there was no stripper, just board games, and my wife sent me a picture of some generic board game on a table. The picture had a very faint watermark in the corner, so I tiny-eyed it, and it was a stock photo. I replied and said that I could see the watermark. It's totally fine if she saw a stripper, and it really didn't bother me. She didn't respond directly to that, but kept me updated that she was coming home, etc. later in the evening. She explained that the picture she sent was what the party was supposed to look like. She showed me the WhatsApp group for the hen party where that picture was sent to the group. She then showed me in her camera roll the actual picture from the evening, which was Mario Kart Monopoly and Risk, which nobody wanted to play. She said she meant to message me that afterwards, but they moved on to the next activity abruptly. When she got home, it was about 2 a.m., and she woke me up by falling through the door with her friends, who I could hear were definitely very merry. They dropped her and went, and she came and said hello, and then went straight for a shower. The mutual friend sent me a message saying in a hugely drunken jumble something along the lines of, "You might not want to kiss her on the mouth, lol." I mentioned this to my wife when she was out of the shower, and she turned bright red. She said she'd thrown up in the street and she didn't want to talk about it. She laid down in bed and fell asleep pretty quick. This was obviously the biggest, weirdest red flag. I sat down with my wife this evening and we talked through it. I told her everything I remembered about her coming home, etc., what she and her friends said, and what the evidence seemed to point to. Her explanation is actually something a few of you touched on, those dumb hen party games. Apparently the game, cringingly called wife training, was to deep throat a cucumber. Whoever got the deepest would win some plastic trophy with a picture of a knob on it. Great stuff. She said she didn't want to, but also didn't want to be a wet blanket, so she tried, but it pretty much instantly made her gag and throw up quite a large amount of baby chino, which she said is some manner of cocktail. She offered to show me on the party WhatsApp group some of the other girls doing it, as some had really gotten into it, and were really trying hard to win. The thumbnail was enough for me to believe her, and also not want to see any more. She apologized for saying she threw up in the street, but said she was embarrassed about participating in the game and throwing up over herself. This was also why she was in the shower when she got home. Curiosity got the better of me, and I messaged the friend back and asked how come my wife had thrown up, as she didn't seem that drunk. She replied and said, again, drunkenly, "She didn't throw up though, there was definitely gagging, lol." Again, I questioned this when I spoke to her and asked what the message had meant. She replied cucumber, which honestly seemed to be supporting the blowjob theory at the time, but after talking to my wife, it makes sense that she was referring to the cucumber gag game. I know what the friend is hinting at, but I've let it lie since then. I don't know how to approach it with anyone, and my wife has been more quiet than usual since. I'm not a confrontational person by nature, so I really don't know what the next step is. And thanks to everyone who said that I should power through this and helped me swallow my nervousness to get it done. Honestly, every part of what she said checks out, and I feel stupid for letting it run this long without speaking to her. Whether I was afraid it was what I feared and that she had screwed a stripper or something worse, like she'd been assaulted while drunk, I don't know. But it's been an important reminder to talk to her when I'm unsure. In the comments, I get not being confrontational, but you have all the right to tell her to cut the crap and just say what happened. You caught her in a lie with a stock photo, and your friend has sent some disturbing messages. Tell her she has one shot to come clean and see what happens. This is important. Trust is destroyed at this point. You've caught her lying about it already, and her distance and evasion only reinforce the impression that she's guilty as hell. This marriage will not survive without trust. If she doesn't want to lose you, she needs to be doing everything in her power to rebuild trust and reconnect with you. Basically the exact opposite of what she's doing now. An uncomfortable conversation might be gotten past, but stonewalling will only put even more distance between you. Yeah, like her sending him a watermarked photo? WTF. Just be honest, good God. So sickening. Gross. Her friends aren't very good friends if they knowingly supported her essentially cheating on you, her husband. Trash friends. I hope you have a conversation with her and get the truth to come out. This has nothing to do with the confrontation. It's well past that point. She needs to tell you what she did, period. Marriage isn't some children's game. Sending stock photos and making up what was occurring is a serious breach of trust. She lied to your face. For everyone who keeps mentioning this friend, who gives a flying F about the friend? His wife lied to him. He needs to talk to his wife and not play dumb kid games involving this friend. Facepalm. I didn't even register that it's been a week. Dude, what the hell are you doing? Why are you being a doormat? At this point, you need to say plain and simple, you need to tell me honestly what happened that night, or we are done. She needs to understand the severity of this conversation. And now, on to the update. Okay, wow. Thanks everyone for your messages. I've been at work all day, but checking in when I could. I appreciate the many messages of support and encouragement, and in a weird way, the people who told me to drop my wife immediately. Your guidance, be it one way or the other, helped me through this. I've updated the original post above with the relevant explanations that she's given me. I'm completely satisfied that she was safe, if stupid, and that she didn't choose to, or wasn't coerced into, sexual activity with another person. She's reading over my shoulder as I'm writing this, and she says, "Hello, Reddit." Thanks everyone, and for the many people who wanted an update, I hope you're as happy as I am with how it's ended. Update 2, the overwhelming majority are telling me not to believe her, and I get it. If a stranger told me this sequence, I'm sure that I'd be skeptical too. I know the partner of the woman whose flat it was, and he checked the ring triggers for the whole day. The only people in and out were him, his partner, and the hen party. They live in a first-floor flat with safety windows, so unless the stripper was made of paper and posted through a window or stuck in a handbag, there just literally wasn't one. I didn't want to go all Big Brother on this, but honestly, it's bothering me thinking that people are still scorching my wife because of stupid drunk judgment. No more updates after this, and I'm not engaging anymore because people are adamant that I'm karma farming when I just want this over now. In the comments, sounds like the wife's friend likes to stir the pot and it went too far. 100%. For some reason, she's trying to cause genuine problems in OP's relationship. I didn't fully believe the wife's excuse either, but the video evidence from the doorbell camera is irrefutable. I don't see why it's so unbelievable. The only really weird thing is sending a stock photo instead of just taking a picture of the table, but her not wanting to send him a picture of her friends blowing cucumbers explains that. The friend is stirring crap, but even her comments are explained by the wife gagging on a cucumber as part of a drunk, dumb party game. I think the wife is reconsidering some of her friendships right now though. I agree with the idea that the wife did nothing wrong and the friend is a pot stirrer, but you can delete recordings off a Ring doorbell, so not seeing a stripper doesn't necessarily disprove anything. Wouldn't the fiancé know that something had been deleted? Good question. I have a Ring and just tested this. If you delete a clip, not only does the clip get removed, but so does the motion alert itself. My wife got home at 5:37, I got home at 6. I deleted the clip of myself entering the house, and there is no indication that I can see that shows anything was altered. If the fiancé has notifications turned on, he could hypothetically notice that he got a phone notification that doesn't match a login on the Ring app, but I doubt he would notice. The stock image photo is the really weird part for me. I could believe all the rest of the wife's story, but sending a stock image photo of a random board game instead of just a picture of whatever they were doing at the time is bizarre. This one's a bit too confusing for me to decide what happened for sure. It's possible she hooked up with a mutual friend, but that wouldn't explain the "you don't want to kiss her on the mouth" part, or "there was gagging" comments, since that obviously implies that a penis was involved if the wife actually didn't throw up like the friend said. Alternatively, the friend could be an absolute crap stirrer, which would make me not doubt the wife's story. My impression was that she sent the photo of the board games because the other option was to send pictures of what they were actually doing, which is blowing cucumbers. I don't know. If I were doing stupid deep-throating games, I wouldn't want photographic evidence of it for any reason. It just takes one stupid social media post to ruin someone's career. I don't think it's that odd. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for refusing to remove a photo of my husband and myself before we attended a wedding?" So this past weekend, we attended my husband's cousin's wedding. It was in the same state, but not near where we live, so we stayed at a hotel near the venue. This hotel has a beautiful fountain out in front, and while we waited for our vehicle to be brought around, we had a bellman take our picture in front of the fountain. Neither my husband nor myself were part of the wedding party. We were simply guests at the wedding. Husband was dressed in a suit and tie, and I was in a burgundy cocktail dress. The bride and groom did request that no one take pictures during the ceremony or reception. We both honored this request. In fact, we took no pictures at the venue at all. I noticed several people taking photos at the venue before the ceremony and between the ceremony and reception. The following day, I shared the photo on social media of my husband and myself taken at our hotel before we went to the wedding. I did not mention the wedding or use the wedding hashtag or anything. There have been several people posting photos on social media taken at the venue and using the wedding hashtag and even tagging the bride and groom. Now the husband's aunt has texted me asking me to remove the photo because we are wearing what we wore to the wedding in the photo, and her daughter, the bride, wants to share the first wedding photos. I said I didn't see a problem because our photo was not taken at the venue and was not linked to the wedding or the bride and groom. And besides, there are dozens of other photos that were taken at the venue and tagged with the wedding or the bride and groom too, including the bride's own brother who was in the wedding party, and he's posted at least a dozen photos. Aunt says that she's trying to get them all taken down, but she doesn't even know everyone who has posted photos. So am I the asshole for not removing the photo of us before we went to the wedding? In the comments, not the asshole. I can see that they wanted to be the first ones, but as you stated, it's not at the venue per their demands, so I don't see a problem with you posting a picture that you took before the wedding. I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain as to why I've been hearing a lot of this sentiment lately. The wedding party not wanting photos taken, or not wanting themselves in a photo, or no photos can be shared. Why? Why did people find another thing to unreasonably expect folks to follow some weird-ass rules? Oh, social media. It's because of Instagram, guys. Not the asshole, OP. You might want to start asking the wedding party when you can post your own personal photos. Like every time. It would be the considerate thing to do, after all. It probably grew out of people interfering with the hired professional photographer doing the job that they were paid for. And the good ones aren't cheap. I've read stories of people stepping in front of the official photographer and their $2,000 camera to take crappy pictures with a disposable camera, or of many pictures the photographer does take being ruined by 40 bazillion other camera flashes going off right at the key moment, and so on. And these are pictures of once-in-a-lifetime, blink-and-you-miss-it moments. Once the official photo is blocked or ruined, there is no do-overs. So, no photography during the ceremony or reception is probably just an effort to protect the investment the bride and groom have made on having a professional taking those photos. I can also easily see why the bride and groom might want to be the very first people to share photos related to the wedding. Asking guests to delay sharing their own photos even slightly related to it is not, in my opinion, unreasonable. Not that such a request seems to have been made in the first place this time. And now, on to the update. The stepfather of the bride contacted me late today. The bride doesn't want my photo removed. Apparently, the aunt/MOB best friend took photos of the bride and bridesmaids before the wedding in their dresses and posted them on social media. Members of the bridal party distracted her and gained access to her phone during the reception. They deleted the photos not just from her social media accounts, but from her phone too. She was upset, and she insisted that aunt/MOB make everyone else remove any photos they had posted. The aunt felt pressured by her friend and then began contacting people. She ended up having a major anxiety attack and ended up in urgent care this evening. Aunt has now cut contact with her friend, and friends and family have been told they are free to post selfies and similar photos from the wedding, but asked not to post photos of the bride and groom. In the comments, why have a hashtag if people can't take and post photos? People are more inclined to share pictures with you via the hashtag as the event is happening or right after, not whenever the event has been long over and the bride says it's okay. Etiquette is generally that it's okay to post pictures from the wedding immediately, but it's rude to post pictures of the bride and groom until they have already done so themselves. It's kind of like posting a picture of someone else's newborn on your social media before they've ever publicly shared a picture of their kid. Let them do it first. Having an unplugged wedding isn't unreasonable. If you've paid a significant amount for professional photographers, an aisle full of people holding up cell phones, stepping in the way of the photographer's shots, etc., can quickly ruin otherwise great pictures. The flip side is, my professional photographers only gave us kind of the photos we wanted. Some of the best photos of the day came from the guests. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.